I don't know about you, but as a massive fan of Little Nightmares and a creator of content for Little Nightmares for the last 8 years, I generally cannot express to you how surprised I am with that showcase, how fantastic it was, and how much excitement there is going forward because of that showcase. To say they've cooked is an understatement. Easy. Hello everyone, my name is It's Just Jordan and welcome to the channel. I make videos on Little Nightmares, and today I thought we would go over the key information bits that's in the Little Nightmares showcase, so you can come back in the future to this video and reference it for the little bits if you needed to. Because there was just so much information in that showcase. Honestly, I remember going from one announcement to the other and then I totally forgot what the last announcement was about because it was just that much information coming out. So again, I'm making this video today so you have something to reference if you ever quickly need to get anything. And hey, if you enjoy Little Nightmares and look forward to some of the theory crafting and news and things like that, make sure to hit subscribe because obviously there's a whole catalogue of content to cover right now, so there is going to be a steady stream of content coming from the channel and of course theories. Again, if you enjoy that kind of stuff, make sure you hit subscribe, it will really help me in the channel. Anyway, shameless self-promotion out of the way, let's get into this video. So the showcase begins with the appearance of Jane from Outside Xbox and Maya, the community manager for Little Nightmares. After a little introduction in chat, we get to see the exclusive Little Nightmares 3 trailer. Supermassive Games have done a fantastic job on Little Nightmares 3, I must say. It is frankly better than I imagined. But on that note, I will be doing a full breakdown on the actual trailer itself again, so subscribe. But of course, right away, one of the things that we were looking forward to the most was the release date of Little Nightmares 3, which they gave us October the 10th this year. And I'm so happy with that. That's literally a little bit like 4 months away, a bit shy of 4 months, which is no time if you think about it. It's actually insane what they've done in the timeline. Just a side bit of that, if you are seeing the 9th on like Steam, or just a quick interjection about the 9th of October, as people seem to think they might be getting it early. It's just time zones, don't worry. Like, I think it really depends on where you are in the world when it's globally released, but it will be globally released on the 10th of October. So, anyway. Then, of course, we get introduced to the awesome Lucas Russell as the franchise director, who has now been working on Little Nightmares for 10 years, the anniversary, I believe, is, as he was stating on the showcase. So, again, 10 years. Congratulations, Lucas. What's interesting about this section in particular is that Lucas is highlighting the fact that Little Nightmares is more than just a game. Again, it's a world, and so much can go into the world. And as a fan, this is fantastic news because it means more and more material going forward. Hopefully, we won't see the end of what they have in store for us. And again, after this little bit, they give us a little teaser of the Sounds of Nightmares. And again, if you haven't seen the Sounds of Nightmares, I would highly recommend it. I'm not biased, I swear. Then, of course, we get to the council's office and we see Maya presenting this little segment with the Little Nightmares narrative director, Lonnie Nadler, and the Little Nightmares transmedia manager, Elise DeBart. And again, they are just fantastic people. Odd fact, I've spoken to everyone in that room at some point. This is when we come to our next big announcement. The Sounds of Nightmares will be getting a season 2, and I am super excited for that. I cannot wait. From what Elise was saying, it sounds as if it's still very early in development in that sort of stage, so it might need a little more time to cook, but I imagine, as you can imagine, they will cook. But knowing this, they are going to be doing more stories that are linked to the counties in the nowhere, which is exactly what we want to hear. After this, Elise also announces another project in the works, the Little Nightmares comic book series, which I am so excited for. I'm so excited for the Descent to Nowhere. It looks so good. Which of course is written by Lonnie too, but Elise said it would be coming very soon, so we'll just have to keep an ear out for any information from all the socials and the Little Nightmares socials. And of course, we get to look at the official Descent to Nowhere cover art, and I gotta admit, it's ticking all those boxes. It's everything I hoped it had been, so I'm really interested. Again, we're going to do a breakdown of the comic section because there's a lot to talk about with that, with the trailer as well. The comic will tell two parallel stories, one set in the counties and one set in the nowhere. In the nowhere, we follow a timid girl named Hush, who is also a mute. You can just tell this story is going to be sad and dark. Hush wakes up in a cold jail cell, and this is where she meets Mono, and Lonnie explains that they are a little bit hesitant to work with each other right at the beginning, but they will both have to work together in order to survive and escape the complex dungeon, as it's described as. The story that's told in the counties, parallel to this one, will be about a detective named Myra who is exhausted and disillusioned with life. She has a random encounter in the counties, and let me tell you as a theorist, that is no stranger, and it is not random. But again, I'll talk about that in another video. It's already looking to be quite a dark tale of how horrible the counties actually is. So when it comes to getting our hands on the comics, here's what you need to know. The first issue of the comic will be released in October this year, but you can pre-order them in August. And then we're going to get another 3 issues, which will come once per month after October, equaling it to a total of 4 issues for the comic. Which, music to my ears, right? Music, absolute music. Then, of course, we get to see the official trailer to The Descent to Nowhere, and again, it looks fantastic. And not to mention, there are a lot of hidden details in that trailer, and I am going to be doing a breakdown video on it. I believe it's either next or the gameplay one's next, so again, hit subscribe. But there is so much, there is such a real unique take on the comics. I'm very happy they've done it. It looks very intriguing. After this, we see even more news from Elise and Lonnie about an upcoming book, which is set in the same location as The Descent to Nowhere, a young adult horror novel. And in this story, we follow a young girl named Ruse. And she wakes up in the carnival, and with her, there are 2 other kids that she's never met before. One is a mousy girl who has a noose around her neck, as you can tell it's going to be quite dark, and the other child is a boy who looks frail with a mask over his face. The book will come out in September. Again, I would like to talk about this in another video, so again, we will get to that at some point, but there is a lot of details that I think this might include. There's a lot of avenues this book might take, and I'm very excited about it. Of all the announcements, I'm really looking forward to the novel. I think that's going to be a fantastic addition. I will say, from what we've seen from the novel's cover already, I really think it could possibly touch up on the Northwind. Now, it might be me wishful thinking, okay, but I'll take it. I want the Northwind, and I'd love to see that sort of story explained and that sort of avenue explored. Again, I think it's going to go so much darker. Then we get the first look at the stop motion animation from the Little Nightmares team, and with the help of Studio Tala di Cuccia. I've probably butchered that pronunciation, so I apologize. Which looks to follow the story of a young girl named Emily. I actually have already done a deep dive on this video, so you can go check that out on the channel. I will link it below in the description. But it looks to be a story about a young girl in a desolated area. She wants to play with dolls, and you can see there's a sort of connection brewing between Little Nightmares 3 and this young girl. And, again, we explore this in the video, and I must say there's a strong theory there. Maya then explains that with these up-and-coming projects, they will be revealed more in the coming months, so we should keep an eye out on all the socials. So then we're introduced to more of the Little Nightmares team. You might be familiar with some of these faces, like Coraline Polino, again, pronunciation, I am terrible, the Little Nightmares 3 producer and the producer on the other Little Nightmares games. Then we get introduced to a new face on the team, Tim Hollyman, who is the Little Nightmares 3 art director. Then we go into a deep dive in the carnival level in Little Nightmares 3, and it has so many bits of information, lore, theory crap. You can make something out of it already. There is that much info in that little deep dive, and again, like I mentioned earlier, I will be doing a video on that in particular because there is so much to talk about in that. And then we come on to the game pass. So what you need to know is that whoever brought the game has a friend pass, so your friend can play with you throughout the whole game. Obviously, the friend cannot play without a copy, so unless you two are playing together, the other friend will not be allowed to obviously use it. But you are able, as a pair, to complete the whole game together. And again, I love a little bit of crossplay like that. I love a little bit of friend pass. It's always a good shout. With that in mind, they also announced the pre-orders are open for all major platforms apart from Nintendo Switch 1 and 2. I believe these are coming at a later date, thanks Nintendo. Going into the pre-order versions, I'll have what they contain on screen so you can actually see them. The versions are the Standard Edition, the Mirror Edition, the Deluxe Edition, and the Premium Spiral Edition. As a pre-order bonus, you will get a Dark 6 costume set too. Also, it's worth mentioning that there seems to be a bit of confusion. The expansion pack is additional chapters. So, new chapters along with the base game's amount of chapters. It's very similar to how they handled Little Nightmares 1's The Secrets of the Maw. So just think of that when you go into it. And you're basically buying that ready. But we all know it's about the jacket. Honestly, ever since I saw that jacket, I have loved that jacket. I just cannot. That jacket is absolutely brilliant. It's actually amazing how much stuff is on the actual Bandai store right now. So again, have a look. Then, of course, we come to the announcement that Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition is coming, which welcomes a lot of updated visuals, performance fixes, and helper abilities too, which is the most welcome part of it, I believe. And the Little Nightmares Enhanced Edition will be available right away if you've pre-ordered the digital edition for Little Nightmares 3. And this will be released alongside PS5, Xbox, PC, and Switch 2. Then, of course, we get a sneak peek into another Little Nightmares project, and this one I generally did not have on my bingo card. Little Nightmares VR Altered Echoes. From what I can tell, this is going to be similar to the Sounds of Nightmares in where they're going to be waiting for a while. Again, I think they're very early with it. Maybe they've got what they want down, but it just needs to be built. So I think we're going to be waiting at least another year or two for the VR project. Again, could be wrong. Please, Bandai, let me be wrong. Again, we don't know who is doing we don't know who is making the VR title. It could well be in-house with Supermassive Games, because Supermassive Games have made VR titles before, so it wouldn't be so far-fetched to think. But we know it's coming at some point. Again, I would slap maybe a year or two on that and kind of just keep it in the back of your mind, but just remember it will take some time to make. And that's all the sort of key moments I have from the show. I believe they did a fantastic job of conveying a lot of the information. Again, if you wanted a condensed version, here it is. But that being said, let me know what you think of the showcase in the comments below. Let me know how you're feeling currently about it all. I'd love to hear what you think. If you love Little Nightmares and want to hear more theories and more videos, make sure you hit subscribe, because of course we'll be covering it like mad on the channel. And, you know, we've got a lot of videos planned already for it. So, with that being said, have a lovely morning, day, or night, wherever you are in the world. Stay safe, and I'll see you all in the next theory video. Bye!